All right, lovely people. Welcome back to another amazing episode of 30 Minutes of Power. TOP, your one stop shop for all things encouraging, entertaining, and motivating. Listen, people, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Today is our 100th episode. Let's go. Yeah. Super excited. All glory be to God. Be honest with you. Like, oh my goodness. We we've come so far. The Lord has
We
brought us so far.
have. Yes, yes.
Um, and so today, I think it would be remiss if I didn't kind of do a throwback to some of the beautiful, amazing things that God has allowed to happen in our lives. We've been sharing recently about some of our goals, some of our dreams, how we're moving and shaking in the Lord and in our businesses. But we're actually gonna take it back in time to about 2 years ago now, eh?
Yep.
2 years ago.
2 years.
Um if you don't know, Jory O'Neill, Nicole Salter here. We are the co-hosts of 30 Minutes of Power, and this podcast is where faith meets real life in practical and powerful ways. In today's episode, it's for anyone who's ever whispered, Lord help me, in the middle of a chaotic workday. And so we've got an amazing guest in the building today, our very own Nicole Salter. I'm going to interview her about her book, Workday Grace. This book has been blessing folks in their workday and in their everyday, honestly, for the last 2 years. And so a lot of people don't even know she wrote it. There's no face on it, right? Her name's real tiny. But this book is very powerful. And so I want to start off with a question. What inspired Workday Grace?
Having a chaotic workday. There's a few things that inspired Workday Grace. One is definitely having a chaotic workday. As I have moved into becoming an entrepreneur, it was hard to figure out what I was going to do from day to day. And I'm so used to having someone say, Nicole, do this, do this, do this, do this, or having a checklist, right? That someone else provided to me that I have to check off. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. And so when I became an entrepreneur, it was like, is somebody going to tell me what to do today? Who has my checklist? Hello? Anybody have my checklist? And so um it was a lot of days where I just sat and was like, we need to do stuff today, but what are those things that we need to do? That coupled with, is this something that I should pray for? Does God care about what I need to do today? Does God care about how I start my morning every day or how I start my business every day? Like, is this something worthy of me praying about? And so going down that rabbit hole, there was, well, God, tell me what's important to pray about. Right. And so after many rabbit holes, um, God said, you know what? How about you share what's going on in your life with other people? And God helped me to realize that no prayer is too small. No prayer is not good enough. And that's pretty much how Workday Grace came about. Like, God, I need your help. I need your guidance in what I'm going to do for day to day and what I should pray for day to day. How should I even pray about what business to do, how to get that business started, making sure that I am open and listening and paying attention to the things that are going around me, paying attention to you talking to me, right? Because sometimes God talks to us and we're like, yeah, no, that's not it. And then down the line, we're like, oh, that really was you talking to us, right? And it could be something as simple as God saying to you, make sure you look down at your feet before you leave. And you're like, God, I always walk outside with the right shoes. And when you get in the car, you're like, oh, I don't have on any shoes. That has happened to me before. And I had to go to Dollar Tree and buy the most uncomfortable flip flops so that I can do the tasks for the day. Right. So that's pretty much how Workday Grace came about. Like different things happening in my life where I had to ask these questions. And then God said, listen, just write this, write that. Here's your prayer about this. Here's your prayer about that. No prayer is too small. No prayer is too big. Put it before me. We'll work on it together. Right. Um, yeah.
I
And
like
here
that.
we have it. A
Hey, there you go. Hey,
year
you're
and a
not
half,
alone.
2 years
You're
later.
not alone. So, um, I think that's powerful. So it sounds like you invited God into your workday.
Yes.
And so I think that's so powerful, especially your transition into entrepreneurship, because now in this space of entrepreneurship and feeling frazzled and all over the place and not knowing what I'm supposed to do from day to day, and having a schedule provided to me, right, from my previous employer, and now me creating this schedule and realizing this doesn't work for me. I got to shift it. I got to change it. You found a way to invite grace and God into the everyday. And it
Yes.
sounds like you were attempting to give yourself grace for not knowing everything and for not having it all together straight out the gate, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with, right? Like thinking that they have to have all the answers right away,
Mm-hmm.
straight out the gate, or else they're not good. Like, oh, you must not be ready for entrepreneurship. Go ahead and go back into somebody's business. So, what does Workday Grace actually walk people through?
It actually walks people through how to get to the next step. And so in Workday Grace, you pray about various areas in your life. You pray about creating a schedule. You pray about giving yourself peace when you don't keep the schedule. Um, you you pray about being thankful for the days that you mess up, and then have giving yourself grace on the days where you don't keep the schedule as good, right? So there's a lot of, and when you become an entrepreneur, you learn a lot about yourself. Like I can remember when I first started my journey, it was like, oh, we're gonna make a schedule and we're gonna keep it every day and we're gonna be robots. And then by day two, it was like, I don't want to do that today. So what am I going to do? Right? Recently found out that my son is on the line with ADHD. And so with that happening, right? It was like, oh, all right. He has ADHD. Like looking over the things that his teachers are saying he's having issues with. I'm like, are they talking about him or are they talking about me? Because I tend to have these issues too, right? Like if I see a task that's too large, I'm like, yeah, no, don't want to do that. Nope. Mm-mm. And when you become an entrepreneur, when someone gives you the task, you have to do it for that person. So there is no, oh, this task is too large. It's how are we going to break this down to make this happen? But when you give yourself those tasks, it's like, nope. What, you want me to vacuum a whole living room? Like it's my living room? I think I could live with the dirt in that corner. And I think I could live with the toys over there for a few more days. I could live with the pillows on the floor, right? But if someone says, hey, Nicole, I'm really sick, I'm stressed out, I need help. Can you vacuum my living room? You go over there. All right, let's pick up these toys. Let's pick up the pillows. Let's put this. Where is the home for this? But when you have to do it for yourself, it's not the same. And so becoming an entrepreneur, like learning those organizational skills, those productivity skills, they change. They don't stay the same. And so these are the things that are in the book. Like God help me to be more organized. God show me how to be productive today. Because productivity today is not going to look the same as it will next Tuesday or next Wednesday or next Thursday. And so that's where the grace part comes in,
So
making
this
sure that although your production schedule doesn't look the same every day, you realize which parts you like and which parts might work for you. Some parts might not work on Monday. Monday is the first day of the work week, right? So you might say to yourself, all right, I need to get adjusted to tackling this big project. We're going to dwell on it on Monday. Tuesday, we'll begin the steps, right? Or some Mondays, your coffee may be extra good that day, and you're like, no, we could handle those steps starting today, right? And so that's kind of where your grace comes in. Like, especially when you're an entrepreneur, you're not working for someone else. You're not working to necessarily please someone else. You're working with other people more than for other people. And so you guys work together to create balance and to create guidance. And all of those need prayer. If you think you can do it on your own, all power to you. I'm telling you, I cannot. And I need to pray daily. God help me with these things.
So I love how approachable it is. It doesn't feel like you're preaching. It feels like more like you're just sharing your humanity, right? And so I remember reading the chapter about the copy you're breaking down. And so I laughed, right? I prayed at the same time. That's the cool part about this book because it's almost like a three in one. Like it's part devotional, part journal, and then part practical toolkit, right? And each section, honestly, is short enough to read on a lunch break. So if
Mm-hmm.
I don't make it to getting to the book in the morning before I go off,
Right.
I I could give myself grace during the workday and pull it out during my lunch break. So that's cool. I wanna I wanna ask you. It sounds like you wrote Workday Grace for you, but is there anyone in particular that you feel who should have grabbed this book like yesterday?
I'm not going to point any elbows to anyone sitting in the room next to me while we're having this lovely podcast. But um it was definitely written for a lot of my friends who are not only entrepreneurs but are also in a physical building, a physical workplace, because stress happens everywhere, right? And the more we focus on grace, on doing good, on the more we focus on solving the problem, no matter where we are, the easier our day will be, right? And a lot of times I feel like a lot of people from what I hear, not only from entrepreneurs again, but from other people that work in places, human error is a big thing. And when we dwell on human error, we don't solve a problem.
Mm,
And I think that was a big part in grace as well. Like everybody has to work. No, I don't, it doesn't matter what kind of work you do, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you go into an office. You do some sort of work. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you're home, you're working to make sure that your house is in order. You're not, well, you shouldn't be sitting around gossiping and just looking at whatever is on the TV for entertainment, right? You are cleaning up after your kids, whether it's before breakfast or after breakfast. You're making lunch or you're making dinner or you're cleaning, doing laundry, whatever it is, right? A lot of people want to be a stay-at-home mom, and I can tell you, I was a stay-at-home mom and couldn't wait to be productive and do some sort of work. Right? I'm glad I was able to experience it, but I've realized that I am not the sit at home kind of person. I need to be actively moving around all the time, which is why when they said, "Oh, your son is like he should be tested for ADHD," I was like, "Huh, I wonder where he gets it from." Because I can definitely understand his lack of focus, for a better word, for lack of a better word. Like I can understand why he seems to be all over the place, why he daydreams, He gets it from his mama. Sorry, not sorry, but sorry.
So
um,
I want to. So it sounds like this book is for anyone who's ever felt like maybe their faith in their work, and whatever that work looks like. Like if they felt like it was at odds, maybe this book is put out there for a reminder that they're not. Right?
right.
God is with you both in the emails and in
Yep.
the errands.
Yep.
I love
I-
that. And so it sounds like this workday grace is not like a try harder theology, but a trust deeper theology. Is this
Definitely.
okay?
It's definitely for you to pray about it, give it to God, and watch Him work, right? I think a lot of times we pray about something like we'll pray, God, help me get this car fixed. And then we'll try to fix it ourselves without looking or without receiving the knowledge from everyone else who knows how to fix cars. I don't know how to fix cars. All I know how to do is change a tire, right? But I'm like, God, help me change this oil. And then you end up putting the engine oil in the antifreeze cap because you thought you could do it on your own. you know, instead of you taking the time to learn where all of these things go, it's like, God, help me fix this. Oh, I know how to do it. And you just start taking control, right? God, help me get here. Oh, this is a shortcut. I'm going to take this shortcut because God said to take the shortcut, but God didn't say take the shortcut. God said, be patient. Traffic is going to ease up, right? And so this book was definitely written for those people who genuinely want God's help in different areas of work, right? They genuinely want to sit and focus and not only focus, but like write down where they are and compare it to where they're going. They genuinely want to seek God in the little areas like work. You know, a lot of times people are like, "Oh, why am I praying about work? Work is not important enough for me to pray about. I'm not curing cancer, And it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. God shows up wherever we are.
And I don't want to underestimate the power of journaling because in the book you include spaces for daily reflections. And sometimes it seems that like there's an opportunity to pray the prayer because you provide prayers in here as well as
Hmm.
scriptures. Um, Sometimes writing how you're feeling is that prayer.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I want to get into some takeaways because you know how I love my practicals. For someone listening right now who's feeling spiritually dry, just parched at work, what is one small thing they can do today?
One small thing they can do today is buy the book.
Well, now there's that.
um, I would definitely say start to think about your why. Why are you feeling dry? Why are you feeling down? Why do you have those feelings that you're having, right? And start to write it down. Start to write it down. Start to read over why you're having these things. Even if you're writing down, God, why do I feel blah? Right? What does blah look like? Why do I have this feeling of not wanting to be productive, not wanting to get up, not wanting to go to work, not wanting to see this person or that person? Why do I have these feelings? It is okay to question God. It is okay to ask God, why am I here in this space? Why did you put me in this job? How did I not listen to you? Did I listen to you like at my at my last office job? That was my question. God, why am I here? These workers are not the best people to be working for or working with. Why did you put me here? And you know what God said? You asked me to be there. God said you prayed every day to put you in this spot right here. And I showed you the red flags because there were red flags from the interview. And God said, I showed you the red flags. And you said, God, I know what I saw today, but I still want to be here. I put you there because that's where you wanted to be. Right? Regardless of all of those red flags. And so I think a lot of times we don't ask those questions. And when we feel that depression and we feel like, what is my reason for existence? We don't realize that we kind of sort of put ourselves there and didn't trust God to move us in the direction that He wanted to move us in. And so I think starting with asking why am I feeling this way? Why did this happen? Or even how did this happen, right? Taking accountability for different things that we did without making sure that it was God's next step for us is important. So asking that question, why, is something that a lot of us don't do that I think we should definitely do from the very beginning.
Speaking of next, what's next for Workday Grace? Any events? You got some groups, you got some workshops, some series? Because I mean, like I said, the people that I've given this book to, like I first of all, I have 2 copies of this left. 2 out of 25. 2. Um, I I'm selling your book more than I'm selling my book. So like, like I feel some type of way about that a little bit, but it is such a need for folks to be able to figure out a way to invite God into the everyday. So what's next? What's next for Workday Grace?
Workday Grace has definitely opened the doors for me to be comfortable about praying in general. And so I feel like every Sunday that I go to church, I have a new prayer journal. And all of them are not necessarily about work, but Workday Grace has made it easier for me to examine other areas in my life that I need to invite God into. So, Workday
Mm.
Grace is the first journal of 12 that I need to really like start getting on because I want to help people get into the habit of praying every day. And if that means that I have to pray first and then you add on to it, I'm okay with that. And so Workday Grace was the beginning of these 12 journals that I am going to write that will be about all facets of life. I do have another one out. It is Purposeful, Powerful Parenting. And that one is just about praying for different areas that your children may be facing. I also have a third one that is coming out very soon. Yes, although it has changed from that. I changed the cover because not only moms are parents, right? So I now have a mom and a dad. Side note, hun, can you go and get my book for me, please? I have a mom and a dad covering their children in prayer every day, right?
Mm.
Um, so that's the parent book, just praying about different things that they may encounter in life, different things that they may encounter in school or on the playground, just praying for how you can parent them as a godly parent. Also, praying for you to have grace when your children get upset. I'm not going to say that I'm the uber duper super mom and never get upset at my kids. Like, I wasn't talking to anyone on Friday because I would look around and there's clothes on the floor, there's cups upstairs, there's no eating upstairs. Why do we have cups upstairs? There's bowls upstairs, there's snack wrappers upstairs. So yes, I wasn't talking to anyone on Friday because I was frustrated and I was upset that no one was listening to me. Right? And so is that something we pray about? Is that something you ask God, God, why am I upset? I know that they're going to do this. So why am I upset with them? I'm upset with them because I do want them to listen. I do want them to follow rules. If they're not following my rules here, how are they going to follow rules when they get into the real world and have to listen to other people that are not their mom? So this is what the new one looks like.
Ah, nice.
Yes, has the family, praying for each other, covering everyone. Prayers for purposeful parenting.
That looks like a hardcover.
This one is a hardcover. This one
Fantabulous.
is a hardcover. And I mean it same thing. It just has a bunch of prayers for you to pray over your children, to pray about how you parent. The next one, number 3, should be dropping soon. I just have to make sure that I have all of the ducks in a row for that one. That one is called My God is With Me.
Mm.
And it's prayers and affirmations letting you know that you are good enough and God is always with you. And again, it's there. The purpose of all of my journals is to really enforce the importance that there is no prayer too small, right? If you go to school and someone says they don't like your sneakers, there's no prayer too small. God, please tell these people leave me alone. They are my sneakers. They are on my feet. They are not bothering you. You have control over your eyes. You can look somewhere else. You do not have to look at my sneakers, right? And sometimes our children don't know how to deal with that. I did deal with that because my son now refuses to wear characters to school. He loves Iron Man, he loves Spider-Man, but he will not wear them to school. He won't wear the sweaters to school because girls were teasing him about getting his sweaters from Target. And I'm like, I thought Target was a good store. Why can't we shop at Target? And then the defensive mom, the ghetto mom, came out and said, how you know I shop at Target? Were you shopping at Target too? And I have to be careful in which mom I show to Christopher because I don't want him to show the ghetto mom to his students, his peers, and get in trouble, right? And that is something that you can pray about. God, show me how to teach him the correct response to
Mm.
things like this, because no prayer is too small.
I love that. So where can folks grab your book from?
Right now, they are all on Amazon or they are at whatever conference Drury is at.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and you already know, have books will travel. Have will travel. Y'all, Workday Grace is not just a book, it's a reminder that God doesn't clock out when we clock in. Nicole, thank you so
Amen.
much for writing this book. Any final words for our listeners?
No prayer is too small. No coworker is too much of a pain in the neck to pray for.
Say that again for the people in the back.
No coworker is too much of a pain in the neck to pray for. Every boss needs prayer, right? The important thing is knowing what and how to pray. I remember there was a time where I didn't like my husband. And I would say, God, fix him because I don't like him today. And God was like, no, I need to fix you to be the perfect wife for him. And I was like, say it again. I didn't hear it right. I think I got wax in my ears. No, I need to fix you to be the perfect wife for him. And so praying God fix other people is not the answer. Because sometimes God needs to fix you so that you can be an example to those people. So that
Amen.
you can bring those people closer to God. So for the people in the back that are listening, no prayer is too small. Always invite God into your life and into your workday.
I love that. Listen, folks, that is our time for today on our 100th episode of Top TOP 30 Minutes of Power. If this episode blessed you, which I know it did, please share it with a friend. Leave a review
Yes.
on Apple. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss what's next. Until next time, be a empowered person using your power to empower others. Next time, people.
Peace.
Peace.